If you beat Max Holloway on March 3rd, you become the featherweight champion. That will be your second UFC title. Obviously, you were the former lightweight champion. It used to be, and maybe it still is, that was a big, big deal. There really wasn't a lot of guys who had done that for a very, very long time. For years, it was BJ Penn and Randy Couture, and everybody knew those two names, and everybody held that up as that is a very, very, very significant achievement in the sport. And now within the last 2 years, we've seen Conor McGregor do it. He knocks out Aldo, immediately goes up, finishes Eddie Alvarez. He's a two-weight champion. And now George St. Pierre recently coming back from a 4-year layoff and beating Michael Bisping. Do you still think that is viewed as big of a deal as it historically has been, or do you think that some of the shine has been taken away from that accomplishment?
I guess it's been taken away a little bit. I mean, the more people do it, the less exclusive it is. But, it's still special. I mean, the reason Conor and George did it, I'm not saying, they did it because they got it done, number one, but they were allowed to do it, and that's kind of, I'd say, Conor going out there and asking for it. I think in the past, many people didn't ask to do stuff like that. But I think even in the past, I don't know if they would have let guys do that. So now the fact that they let guys do that, like George come out of retirement and fight for the belt right away, in the past, I don't think that would have gone down like that. So that's why it might have been a little harder back then as opposed to today.
And being in the featherweight division, are you happy that Conor McGregor's sort of not in the conversation right now? The fact that he is no longer the featherweight champion, and that's not necessarily a distraction in the division anymore?
No, man. When Conor brings to the each weight class is something no one else can. He brings a lot of tension, a lot of glitz and glamour, I guess, to it, and gets people talking about it. So when he's not there, it's good because I guess the title's moving and whatnot. But when he is there, that becomes opportunities for a big money fight and obviously a lot of attention on you.
As a guy who knows fighting, you think Conor McGregor will ever be the same after the big payday at Floyd? Like, do you think he'll ever realize the potential that he may have realized without that fight?
Yeah, I don't know. I really can't speak for that. Winning $300 million is got to change you, I'm sure. People say, hey, if you won that money, would you still fight? If I won the lottery, I would still fight. I really would, just because I enjoy fighting. If Conor's that guy, then yeah, we'll see him back in there. But again, when you're fighting and you have that $300 million in your bank account, maybe your hunger is not there as much.
Does Frankie Edgar play the lottery?
No, I don't. So,
no, like $500 million Powerball, nothing like that.
I may have done it once. I don't know. I'm not into it.
All right. Well, I guess we'll never have to deal with that. That would be pretty amazing if Frankie Edgar had $330 million in the bank. What is the? Did someone win the Powerball? I thought wasn't it up to like $400 million recently? If you had $400 million in the bank, you'd still be fighting, huh? You'd be taking on the young, fresh up and comers.
Yeah, I would. My exit might be a little quicker than I would have planned, but I'd still get at it.
Well, speaking about the up and comers, then, if you win the title, let's say you're the featherweight champion come March 4th. Do you have that same mindset that you had 7 years ago when you were the lightweight champion of, defend the belt, line them up? Is that still your mentality, or do you think you would have a different mentality if you were holding the championship?
No, I defend the belt. That's what you're supposed to do as a champion, right? That's what Holloway's doing. I think that's the right way to play it. I win this belt. I want to defend it hopefully in July. Something like that, maybe International Fight Week.
Wow. Do you prefer taking fights, if you had your choice, would you prefer taking fights stateside? You fought in Abu Dhabi, you fought in Japan. Would you rather fight overseas or exotic locations you haven't seen before? Or are you happy fighting in Las Vegas and say, Madison Square Garden?
Yeah, I'd rather pick those two spots over probably anywhere.
Those long flights. Yeah, forget those long flights.
It's tough. It's long flights. It's the food. It's more expensive to get your team out there. There's a lot of downside to it. It's awesome. Listen, I'll never take it back. Get to see the Philippines, Abu Dhabi, Japan. When would I ever get to do something like that? And but if I had my choice, Vegas, the Garden, it's good to me.
Hey, I got two more questions left. One of them is you did an interview with Flow Combat, and one of the statements that you said stuck out to me, and I don't have it in front of me, but it was something to the effect of, I love it when people doubt me. I want to go out and prove all the losers who have never done anything with their lives wrong. That's almost better than the victory itself. And that sounded sort of uncharacteristic of Frankie Edgar. You usually don't come at people like that. Have you been? Did you feel like, was it frustrating when you were injured? Did you get some hate? Did you get fed up with some social media reaction? Where did that statement come from?
Yeah, I think my problem was I looked at Twitter probably before I did the interview and seen someone talking smack. So, yeah, that's what it was. I was a little hyped up in that interview. I was having fun with it, and it is a little uncharacteristic of me, but it's true, man. Most of these dudes that talk junk and have something to say haven't done anything, in their lives. So, I don't really sweat them, but yeah, it's fun coming around. Like sometimes I want to screenshot the stuff they say, and then after I win, I'd love to go back and send them something, but I'm not that guy to do that. But sometimes it feels good, to prove these people wrong.
Yeah, human nature. You can only ignore it for so long, probably, right?
Yes.
How often are you checking Twitter, Frankie? Do you check your mentions every day, multiple times a day, once a week?
I used to. I used to be bad with it. I'm trying to get better, man. I'm trying to lead an example for my kids, man. I don't want to be on my phone all the damn time. So I try to set it to, certain times a day. But, like right now when I know that the mentions are hot right now just because my fight got announced, I kind of try to stay away from them a little bit because I don't want to see the negativity. If I get any negativity, boom, you're getting blocked. That's my thing. I don't like negativity in my life.
Hey, last question for me. People are still buzzing about that Khabib Nurmagomedov performance against Edson Barboza. Obviously, Edson very well. What were your thoughts on that fight watching it?
I mean, Khabib is just, an animal. We all knew he was. I thought Edson was going to match up well with him because, I know what Edson's capable of. But he took Edson into deep water early. And, early on I was like, I don't know how long this fight's going to last. And Edson just showed his heart and his fighting spirit like not many people can. And, I mean, I tip my hat to him. He's, he could have easily got out of there. And he decided to, keep fighting. And not only keep fighting, just hang on, but he was throwing some wheel kicks in the third, trying to find a way to win. So, he got nothing but respect from me.
When you're watching that fight, and I'm going to ask you to be an analyst again, is Edson making mistakes? Can he do anything? Or, I think a lot of us watched that fight and said, well, they could do that 100 times and it would look the exact same every single time. Did he make mistakes, or is Khabib, is there something that he's doing that just nobody can stop right now?
I think a little bit of both, there's always someone out there. We see it time and time again. I think Junior or Edson, backed up to the fence a little bit and then threw. I think he needed to maybe, pivot on his punches a little more. But again, Khabib is the best at doing that. So until someone could figure it out, I guess, yeah, he could do that to anybody.
Last question from me, Frankie, is let's talk about your other endeavors. You have a gym. Tell us about that. You're approaching a 1-year anniversary. Is that correct?
Yeah, we're having my UFC gym year anniversary party. We've been open a little longer than a year, but we've been kind of slacking on the anniversary party. So we're having it January 20th. I'm teaching some classes, doing some stuff. Going to do a viewing party for UFC 220. It's going good, man. I enjoy it. It's part of my life. This is what I do for a living. I'm, in sports. I'm in MMA, so I figured what better thing to do than open the UFC gym.
What's been the most surprising thing about your first year as a gym owner?
Just the ups and downs and getting the right people in. I don't run it on a day-to-day basis, but I'm definitely overseeing things and getting updates. And you got to just find the right pieces to make everything work correctly. And I think we're doing a good job of that now. How
are the kids doing? One of my favorite short viral videos of all time is still when they did the Ice Bucket Challenge and they dropped the bucket on your head. It remains to this day one of my favorite videos. How are the kids doing?
They're good, man. They're good, man. My oldest just turned 9 today. My middle one's 7, and my daughter's 3. So they're a handful. I got my middle one wrestling. My other one plays basketball. We got our hands full.
So they're already teaching classes at your gym, is what you're saying?
Yeah, a little bit. They come and assistant coach with me.
Yeah, exactly. So Frankie Edgar, thank you very much for joining us here on the ESPN 5 Rounds podcast, and we'll definitely be watching UFC 220.